All right. Good morning. Welcome to Sunday Night Live. Good evening, Muck. Welcome to Sunday Night Live. Here we are. I got this chorus of dogs. uh, Hi, everyone. Let me see if I can make them. Okay. Here we are. Anyway, some animals, some dogs. Anyway, here we are. Yay. I'm gonna try to keep this going as smoothly as possible. And yeah, so good morning, Sunday Night Live and Sunday Evening Live. It's Sunday Night Live, SNL. All right, so here we are. Good. I have all your questions. I mean, I'm gonna just a reminder. So here we are again. We do this weekly Sunday night in the U.S. and I guess just the U.S., Canada, Mexico, but it's Monday morning over here on this side of the planet. So, and I do think it's a planet rather than something like my Mac Mini, which is just a disk. It might be. It might. We might all be on a Mac Mini, but I don't think so. Anyway, that's the story. Yep, you can hear me. I hope. Yep. And okay. So I want to remind you of the format. So the format is we're going to be answering questions that were pre-submitted. The camera is off. Oh. There we are. Are we okay now? No. We're not okay. Is this okay? Yes. It's got to be okay. Anyway, I got the camera sitting on top of a mebendazole box because we can get mebendazole over here just by going to the drugstore and saying, "Can I have some mebendazole?" And they say, "Sure. How much do you want?" And they don't ask about a prescription or anything like that. I'm not centered. Of course, sort of centered now. Yeah. All right. Cool. Onto your right. Am I okay now? There you go. Anyway, so let's go with it. So that's our format. First hour, we answer questions that were submitted previously, and then the second hour, we're going to answer questions that arise spontaneously. Okay. And all right, cool. Thanks. All right, Dr. K. I'm centered. Okay. It's a great thing. Move your camera closer. Bit. Remove the box out of the scene. I can't remove the box because then the camera's going to be too low. But I could do this. Anyway, maybe that's better. So, okay. Anyway, just as a reminder, we have these every week, and then there are three groups. We have the CFC group, which is chronically fermenting cells, that are also known as by the paradigm in which everyone grew up in, from Rockefeller, the mad genius. So they call it cancer, and it's not cancer. I mean, cancer is an astrological sign. That's it. So you have chronically fermenting cells. If you have that kind of thing going on, like a tumor, they're called chronically fermenting cells, and indeed they are. So now we have a CFC group. We meet twice a week, have private, small group of people, private Zooms where we can, where I teach, and we can discuss different issues that are relevant. And then we also have on another day we have Zooms by both our kinesiologist who teaches us how to move, because we should move. We've got 4 arms and 4 legs. We usually, have 4 arms and 4 legs, and it's good to move them, because if we don't move them, we can't get our metabolism kicked off. It's kind of like the engine; it gets things moving. That's why it's. So anyway, we have that on your Tuesdays for the U.S. Monday and Wednesdays are the private Zooms, and then you can join the parasite group, or you can join the health and healing group. So and then we meet. So, but there's a lot more teaching and direct interaction on those private Zooms. Okay, now. Now, if you currently have CFCs going on, you have CFCs somewhere in a solid tumor somewhere, or in blood or bone marrow or whatever, wherever it might be, and you need help. My clinic, which has been, I think we're in our 21st year now. We're in Arizona. It's called An Oasis of Healing, and you got to put that "an" in there. I remember we were making the name. I was such a grammar freak that I had to put the proper article there, and now I found out what a burden it's been, because people wind up putting in whatever they put in. They wind up at Oasis of Hope, or anything. But so it's An Oasis of Healing. So remember that little "an." But we've been, so we're, and I travel all around the world, and I live. Now I live in one spot on the eastern part of the world, but I've been around, and I'm always looking for centers. I'm visiting doctors, I'm visiting clinics and all that. And I'm looking because I want to find other places that I can refer people to when they're in other parts of the world or whatever. And I can't find a clinic anywhere that does it all, that takes care of everything from your, the way you eat, sleep, interact with your family, friends, and with God, and how to keep your mind your friend and not attacking you. What should you eat? When should you eat it? And then give all the therapies that most integrative oncology centers give, which are, they range from, intravenous vitamin C to curcumin, different botanical remedies and therapies, and ozone, all those things. But in addition, the colonics, meditation, and we teach you how not to come back. We're not looking for repeat people. We're not at all. We don't want repeat people. Okay, and our goal is that you never need another doctor the rest of your life, because you've learned how to live and how to take care of yourself, because they don't teach us that in high school, right? We're supposed to come through high school and have a general education, right? I'm educated. I'm ready to stand on my own 2 feet and face the world. And they didn't tell me how to live, about going to sleep and everything. So we have seminars on when to go to sleep. We have seminars on what to eat, right? And you don't see dogs and horses having seminars on what to eat. It's pretty clear to them. But not us. What he said and she said. Well, I read somewhere that I think we should be eating monkey brain. No, I think we should be eating bull testicles. No. We should be eating the lining of the gut, especially if you have a hangover, right? Isn't that menudo? So anyway, the human diet is. I wouldn't call it the human diet. I would call it the total zoological diet. We eat everything in the zoological tree. In fact, we eat anything a cockroach would eat, including the cockroach. I don't want to miss anything. Anyway, so we kind of teach you how to eat, and what to eat, and how to prepare it. So when you go home, you can do it. Anyway, in addition to all the treatments. So, because if you don't do all of that, you didn't do it all. So anyway, we're doing that at Oasis of Healing. We've been doing it for 21 years, and I'm still looking for another place. So if anyone knows of a place that does it all, let me know, because I need to know this, because I have a lot of people asking me. All right. So anyway, so we're happy to help you there. And it's easy. I mean, just look it up online, or 480-834-5414, 834-5414. Hope that's still the number. And then we've got this new channel called Blue Sky. I'm not sure what it is. Is that Blue Sky? Yeah, at Dr. Thomas Lodi. At Dr. Thomas Lodi. So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of those at Rumble, they're all at Dr. Thomas Lodi, except for X and TikTok. It's at Dr. Thomas Lodi MD. So that's it. That's it. So let's find some questions. Ooh, I got too much here. Let's put that there. Go back to here. Come on. What? Okay. Okay, good. We did it. We did it almost. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention at an Oasis of Healing, we also have some programs for people that just like it's a 1-month program for just renewing your body, getting yourself back in shape and healthy, or restore or finding health for the first time, whatever. So it doesn't have to be oriented only towards the CFCs. So we've got a few seats in that area. So just as a reminder, okay. All right. Now, why don't I have? All right, cool. Go. So first question is from D, and it's regarding a breast CFC. She goes, "You may recall me. I'm still alive past the 12-month adenocarcinoma Mets crap spellcasters." She's got it. But I have had since March a crusty nipple, yellow discharge, inverted slightly hard behind it. I'm taking ivermectin 3 times a week and mebendazole plus other supplements, vitamin D, ginger, luteolin, berberine. No worse at least. I try not to think about anything, but this is just cells and healing. Okay, very good, excellent. Well, Dia, it's fantastic. You're doing amazing, and you used the right word. She said spellcasters because just to remind you that what we were talking about earlier is that with the Rockefellers and the whole disease model thing. So they call processes in our bodies to adapt. They call these processes, which are, according to grammar, verbs. They're the things that are happening. Okay, they're not objects. They're happenings. Right? It's like insulin resistant because I'm eating too much pasta and bread and potatoes. So my body becomes insulin resistant as a natural reflex to keep me alive. But they've turned that process verb into a noun. They call it diabetes, and then we have an enemy, and we need our pharmaceutical weapons, and we go after it, and that's it. But it doesn't work because if you're diagnosed at the age of 20 and you go and at the age of 40, you still have it. You're just taking a bunch of different drugs. That's all. That's all that's changed. Is that that you've probably gotten sick? You definitely have gotten sicker. They want to bring it under control. There's no such thing as there's no to bring under control. There's a process that's going on. And guess what? If I just stopped eating the bread, pasta, potato, and I didn't have high glucose, my body wouldn't need to adapt and there would be no issue. But by this misdirection and having me chase this phantom, I lose sight of what the real game is. The real game is to restore health. It's really amazing. Anyway, so when she says she got to spellcasters, that's what they do. When they in that room, when they say whatever they say, it's sorcery at state sanctioned sorcery at the highest level. And they say blah, 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 whatever the diagnosis is, which is just a name. It's nothing more than a name. It doesn't tell you how you wound up in this situation or how to resolve it. And if it doesn't give you that information, is it of any value to you? No. But it's of value to them. Why? Because now they have the proper nomenclature to stick it onto their sales algorithm, and they know what sales and services, what products and services to sell you. That's it. I'm telling you, JD Rocky brought his business model with Standard Oil right into our lives, right in the middle of our lives. So now we're born in hospitals and we get swallowed up by machines in the ICU at the end, but they're still not done with us. They take us down to a room and chop us up and try to put names on stuff. Yeah. Anyway. So that's it. So when they put this name on you, believe me, I wouldn't go to them if I thought I had a problem like that, because as much as I know, if I heard that, I'm in trouble, because it bypasses the intellect and it goes right into your heart like a screw worm. You're not going to get it out. So once they diagnose you, they put a spell in. Just very good wording there. So you have this discharge, yellow discharge, slightly inverted, hard behind it, I guess behind the nipple. So it sounds like you have a mass. You have a small mass, and there's some discharge out of the nipple, and so there's lots of things you can do. But I'm hoping, Dee, that you have already gone to a biological dentist who was certified by the IAOMT. You've gone there and you've had a 3D cone beam CT. You've had evaluated to see if there were any problems in your mouth, and because they have a direct effect. They are on different circuits. There's circuits throughout our body, just like you have a circuit for your bedroom light, your bathroom light, and your kitchen light, right? You just put in one fuse and they're all working again. We have circuits in our body and they're called meridians, and it's been known for at least 5,000 years. But Rocky doesn't like those. Now, Rocky says, no meridians. No meridians. So, but they turn out to be true. But anyway, you go in there, you got to get that checked out. You got to make sure you don't have anything going on, because actually the mouth is really a central part of our body, if you think about it, right? That's how we eat. Probably 40% of our breathing, drink, speak, articulate, communicate, kiss. It's a central part of our life, of our being. So to have taken that out of the body and put it into another profession called dentistry, it's insane. It's just it was the beginning of the fragmentation process. And now they have specialists in the mouth and they have specialists in the body. I'm sure we probably have orthopedic surgeons who specialize in elbows. I mean, we got to have something like that, right? We got to keep specializing and getting smaller and smaller. Anyway, but the mouth is directly connected and affects everything, and we know that. And I'm not going to go into why, but I've got one of my webinars. If you join our groups, you'll have access to all the webinars, and you can watch that. It's very important to know. But other than the dentistry, I hope you've done a good thorough juice cleanse for 6-8 weeks. Just cleaned yourself out, colonics, lymphatics. You did all that stuff, right? You did all that stuff. What's time to do it again? It's just like you get your oil changed in your car, not just once, 4 times a year. And that's what we have to do. We have to maintenance on this beautiful, wonderful, incredible earth suit that we have, right? And it's better than any of those other things that we admire, like BMWs and Maseratis, because you scratch those and they don't heal. You scratch us and we heal. Magical. Okay, so let's take care of it. So cleaning it out like that. And then you're eating real food, human food. And by the way, anybody has any, Bernice asked me that question in a second. Again, if anybody has any question about what humans should eat, the human diet should be, get in your car or a taxi, whatever, and drive to a deep forest or jungle. on the edge there. Get out of the car, take all your clothes off, put it in the car, and then push the car, or not if the taxi driver's in there, but get rid of the car. And then you go into the jungle naked like that. And you tell me what is for dinner. What's for dinner? Because you only have what God gave you. Okay, you don't have jaws, you don't have claws, and you got a cheek. So if you try to bite an animal's neck to kill it, you're gonna have trouble. You're gonna bite your lip, your cheek. Just we're not really good at that. I mean, we can choke frogs and choke lizards, but that's about it, right? Other than that, we're kind of designed to pluck, to peel, to plant, right? All right. If you, I mean, I don't know how anyone can be confused over that, but I know everybody is. So you eat real human food, and you eat that in a certain 4 to 6 hour window. You stop eating 5 hours before sleep. You go to sleep by 9. You're doing all of that plus the ivermectin. I would be taking ivermectin if it's all right. So if you know, we usually do like a parasite cleanse, which involves several of the antihelminthics and um, antiprotozoals. A 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off. That's not, and that these are not protocols. These are templates that need to be modified for each individual depending on many, many, many things. So like there's a lot of unbelievable. There's books out now on Amazon that are not me, but it says Dr. Lodi's parasite cleanse. Well, I didn't write it. I don't know those people, and they don't. And I looked at the Kindle, and that's not even at all what I would say. And there's another one, Dr. Lodi's water fast. That's not me. But of course, I can't get Amazon to do its due diligence and to be righteous. Not Jeff, not Bezos. No way. So we're going to keep that up there. And just like Telegram, we're going to keep that up. Telegram's got a group called Dr. Thomas Lodi Community. That ain't me. It's okay. It's insane. So anyway, I don't have a specific parasite protocol that I've come up with because I'm so brilliant. I don't have that. I'm just saying this is the way to deal with this situation. And I've learned and I've studied is we need to take a few different antihelminthics, which are worms, an antiprotozoal and an antifungal, and take them in differing periods, either 3 weeks on, 1 week off. And the 1 week off, we do the antifungal, or there's a variety of different ways we can do it, or we can do 2 weeks on and 1 week off, or we can do 4 weeks on and 1 week off, or we need to have a period where we're really aggressive and then rest. And we need to support our liver during this whole time. Anyway, if you're past all that, D, and now you're into maintenance, then 3 times a week would be good. I would also add mebendazole 3 times a week because they also kill CFC stem cells, which is kind of nice, or eliminate CFC stem cells. I know I'm not supposed to use that word. I keep forgetting because I had a bizarre concept called freedom of speech, but it's a bizarre concept. It's an old concept. You know what? It's like 300-400 years old. Some guys in Virginia came up with it. It's a ridiculous concept, right? So yeah, you've got that happening. So that, and you can always apply like to any kind of lesion that's like that. 7% Lugol's iodine liquid, unless it burns or causes irritation, then you wouldn't. You would maybe go down to the 5%. But the 7% is really important and helps if you can. And also with wound healing, especially coming through the breast. I'm not sure that's what's going on with you. You can always apply fresh aloe. You cut the plant up. Use the plant. Don't use processed stuff that you buy. Anyway, you're doing fantastic, D. Keep it up. But remember, you've got to keep cleansing and cleansing and cleansing. And I hope you're taking 2 grams of liposomal sodium ascorbate 4 times a day, and a lot of you're overdosing on vitamin D. Overdosing it with regards to the way they usually say it, which they say 1,000 units or whatever it is. It's definitely not enough to help anything. Maybe a little bit. And then, there's a lot of other nutrients that we need, but you hope you're doing all that in addition to this. And good, keep your mind on something else, or learn to turn off the mind. I mean, it's possible. And now we have the next question. It's Danin, and it has had next CFCs. My husband has CFCs of the larynx. He's had radiation in 2020, then recurrence in 2022, which he had chemo, the immunotherapy, Keytruda. Now, 18 months later, it has showed its ugly head again. Please advise. Okay. So good. I'm glad you've got the proper language of CFCs. That's beautiful. But there's one other word. We have to remember, we can't just use when we're changing. See, remember, our thinking, our language is the scaffolding of our mind. It's our perceptual set. It's what it is the parameters that define what we're going to see and perceive. Our language, it's the vehicle of concepts, the vehicle of ideas. Right. So it's very important. I mean, it's more important than you can imagine. So anyway, so the word recurrence is part of the Rockefeller game linguistic web. Okay, recurrence, prognosis, treatment. What else? Remission. What do those words mean? What does remission mean? What the hell does it mean? And recurrence means what? It went away, but it came back. What? Where it went away. Where did it go? And somehow it got back. You understand? These words are fairy tale words. This is part of disease land, right next to Disneyland. It's in Anaheim. You can't see it. And there's only one ride. It's called The Impossible Journey, which ends at the morgue. So you don't get on that train. You don't take that ride, The Impossible Journey. All right. So you don't. Okay. So there's no such thing as a remission. There's no such thing as a recurrence. There's no such thing as treating what? You're treating a thing. Treating it. What does that mean? Remember our goal, and we all have the same goal, and that is to be restored to or achieve for the first time absolute balance and health in our body. Health is the consequence of being balanced, all systems balanced, where we're getting exactly what we need and we're not getting anything that we don't need. So what am I talking about? And basically you can look at deficiencies, excesses, and toxins. That's it. So we want to decrease the excesses, take care of the deficiencies, and eliminate the toxins. And that's not just what we eat. And it's not just the things we take. It's when we go to sleep. It's how we interact with others. It's, what kind of entertainment do we have? What kind of books do we? Oh, I forgot we don't read books anymore. We just look at digital stuff on. Yeah. Okay. So, anyway, what kind of computers do you read? No. How would you say that? Anyway, it's everything. All right. So now, a recurrence, what it means really, what happened is that the process of the CFCs that was going on in his larynx, that process was slowed down tremendously, so that I guess it could not be detected at all. And now but it had never resolved. So it's going through its growth again. The whole thing is growing again. The process is happening again. And that's what happened. And then they used Keytruda. Keytruda is, in oncology, I don't remember how many years ago, but they came out and they said, it's a revolution. It's a revolution, say we got revolution in oncology, they call it immunotherapy, which makes you think, oh my God, they're helping my immune system. No, immunotherapy. It's also called checkpoint inhibitor. And what they figured out was on these little CFC cells, they have this thing sticking out of them called a ligand. It's called a programmed death ligand. And it just happens to match a receptor on the T cell, which is one of our lymphocytes that are going to kind of try to eliminate CFCs. And it disables the T cell, and it can't do what it wants to do, which is eliminate the CFC. So they said, well, listen, what if we come in and we block either that one, either the ligand coming off of the tumor cell, or we block the receptor, and they're called PD1 blockers, or PDL1 blockers, or PD1. And it's a revolution. So I wanted to study that revolution. And I found out I think with Keytruda, you get 18 months instead of 12 months or something. That's a revolution. No, and they're all the same. I don't care what Optivo, it doesn't matter what it is. Because you're looking at one little aspect of a system that is beyond comprehension. You've got 24 zeros called a septillion. You've got 37 to 50 septillion chemical reactions going on every second, and they're all coordinated. Every second. No, Gemini, Claude, and ChatGPT can't even comprehend that. No, sorry. And I don't care what other kind of artificial idiot you might have that they don't can't. Certainly humans can't comprehend it. It's beyond comprehension. But that's what's going on. And so we have the audacity and ignorance to say, you know what? I think if I just block this one thing, I'm going to change the whole course of the river. Yeah. So good luck, dude. Doesn't work that way. All right. So it doesn't work. So what's happened now? So I hope, Donine, you were listening to what we were talking about with D. That's all the stuff we have to do. And when we see things coming back or not going away or not coming back, see, it's hard not to use their language because we grew up with it. Anyway, when you see the resolution not happening and health not quite restored, then either or, and usually we have not eliminated all the toxins that initiate the process in the first place, and the immune system is being crippled. And we know the immune system gets crippled just by one of the mechanisms we were just talking about with that ligand and the PD1. And okay, that's one of the ways, but there are many ways that the immune system is rendered incompetent, right? Impotent. And so we've got to wake it up. That would be immune therapy. How do you wake up this immune system that's been crippled? And we do have ways of doing that. We use, real quickly. And I know if I don't get to your question, I am getting to a question you need to have answered anyway. I'm getting it. So remember, my goal is not to answer questions particularly. It's to give you understanding, because with understanding, you can go forth and figure out stuff. But if you just have the answer to a question, okay, 33 milligrams 4 times a day. Huh? Okay? Is that what you want? Ask Chad, ask Claude, and ask Gemini. They're going to give you that answer like that. You don't have to listen to all my nonsense. I'm not here. I'm not an AI. What I'm here to do is give you understanding. Okay. All right. So thank you. You're not seeing the questions or individuals being addressed. That's because they're not. It's a live stream, and we don't have that. I'm reading questions, so don't worry about it. You're not missing anything, but it's on YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, Facebook, and at our website, drlodi.com /live or something. Anyway, so let's get back to this. All right, so okay, so you're getting so basically, I guess what I'm saying to you, Donine, and everybody else that's listening, that you're there's no such thing as recurrence, remission, or any of that stuff, and all that. What we know now is that remember the way that CFCs come into being is that a whole confluence of toxins, because you live in the 20th or 21st century, surround the cells, and they're able to damage the most vulnerable organelles inside the cell, and those are the mitochondria. And so when a sufficient percentage of them are no longer functional, the cell has to change operating systems in order to survive. And this is going on in our body all the time. We've all got a certain number of these cells that are adapting to the fact that they lost mitochondrial function. That's what it is. It's a natural adaptive process. But when it achieves about 1 gram in weight, now it becomes this uh, the process that is got some um, it's plugged in. It's going to move. It's going to keep happening. All right. So now um, that's how it happens. So what are we going to do? We need to get rid of all those possible toxins that as we can detox. I hate those things, those acronyms and those whatever you call them. Detox. Anyway, detox. So, and by the way, detoxification is what the body does when you stop toxing it. Now, detoxification is not something that you do. It's something that happens when you're not putting stuff in it. Don't put anything in your body except, water or juice. And let your body do what it was designed to do, and that is clean house and make new and repair and all that. That's what it will do. All right. So we need to do that again and again and again and again. Keep cleaning, avoiding all additional toxins, and then make sure we're getting exactly what we need to make this beautiful thing function. Right? It needs, what does it need? Amino acids. Yep. Which amino acids? There's only 9 of them. Remember, there's 20 amino acids in biology. There's like 300 or 400, but there's only 20 in biology. And we only need 9 of them because we can make the other 11. So when we're talking about, if you're talking about a complete protein, you don't need a complete protein. You need 9 amino acids. In fact, if I took a protein that you think you need and we put it in your blood, you would die. I'm sorry, I got to remember that who I'm talking to. I'm talking to some bizarre concept of the way human beings should be. And human beings should not want to hear such words because they're offended. And we're going to make sure that we don't offend anyone, right? Because it's impossible. It's impossible. Anyway, and I don't mind offending some people. In fact, it's fun. Anyway. I lost my train of thought. My thought of train. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to that. And as I said, the other thing is the immune system. So we're eating only what we should be eating, which is and we're living properly. Because I kind of already answered this, and it's probably the same answer to everybody. We all need to do this, whether we have a horrible problem with like some sort of what we call arthritis or what we call gastritis or what we call Alzheimer's or what we call ADHD, whatever name we're going to put on, a Rockefeller name, put on, it's the same process. We have to start the healing journey by cleaning out and then living according to our biological requirements. And what are our biological requirements? I want you to imagine, okay, humans arose out of whatever way you think that happened, the tropics and subtropics. That's where we came. Yeah. That's it. We, of course, migrated because we weren't happy with that. There was just too much food and it was too mellow, too easy, So we migrated and we find ourselves up in Norway where, we have 5-minute winters, 5-minute nights and day all the, where but in our pond, right? If you take a frog out of the pond, it's in trouble. Okay, that's its biological niche. Our biological niche is the tropics and subtropic areas. Okay, where you have 12-hour days and 12-hour nights. And if you just understand what would you be doing with regards to any question in your mind if it were 8,000 years ago and you were living here? You'd be going to bed about an hour after sunset. And you'd be eating what you can, pluck and it's all over. I mean, it grows all over here. If you park your car long enough, things will grow out of it. It's just fantastic. So, that's how we would be living. Now, when we restore health to our body, what we're also talking about, when we allow health to be restored, it's not something we do. When we get out of our own way and we allow health to be restored through balancing systems, what one very important system is the immune system. It gets balanced. So what I would suggest to all of you, if you remember this with the immune system, has it's all the white blood cells are produced in the bone marrow, okay, and the cells, the B cells and macrophages, dendritic cells, which are, they're monocytes. They're released into the blood. The B cells are released into the blood, and they go hang out in the lymph nodes. And the T cells are released immature. They're not quite mature, so they go to the University of Thymus, right here under your chest bone, the University of Thymus, and consider it like Langley, right? So they get trained to be trained assassins, and now they're completely trained and ready to go. And they go to the lymph node and they hang out, and they're waiting to be, for their message on who's the target and who brings it to them. The little macrophages and dendritic cells. Yeah, they go to the lymph node and they go in there and they meet a naive T cell, and they say, okay, here's the retinal scan, facial recognition points, fingerprints, go for it. All right, and now that T cell is activated. It's just going to go after that. It can be a really delicious, big, juicy bacteria. It's going to go around it because it needs to get to its target. So that's the T cell. So all of that, if it's not working, health cannot be established or renewed. So keep in mind that the T cells, which are doing, they're the NK cells. I can't even say what they really are because I don't want to be offensive. It's one of my biggest concerns in life. I go to sleep and I say, was I offensive today? Anyway, NK cells, T cells, T helper cells, T effector cells. Yeah. Look, if you don't have a thymus working, and you don't, by the age of 40, you only have 30% left, because the natural process is called thymic involution, where the gland gets replaced with fat. And by the time you're 65, maybe 3% left. At my age, I think I have a negative amount. But anyway, and so that means you can't make any new T cells. That's all that means, but that's a big deal. And you kind of need to these. So when we think of elderly people having their immunity declining, this is one of the big reasons. So fortunately, there's a peptide called thymosin alpha-1, a 28 amino acid peptide. That is one of the things that the thymus gland uses to mature and prepare these T cells, assassins. And so we can get that. You can buy that. And there are a lot of places online you can get them. And you want to make sure, it's a good product, because there's a lot of people selling peptides, and you just have to make sure. So you want a certificate of analysis and all sorts of things from a third party. And that's it. So learn how to do it. There are ways to learn how to do it. If you join our groups, we discuss these things. But anyway, so that's one thing. And then there's another one called Pro Boost, which is a powder, and it's a thymic protein. It also is very helpful in restoring T cells. And then the thyroid gland and the adrenal glands are major controllers of the immune system. So even if you have your T cells, but they're not being regulated, they're not being, because these actually, the thyroid and the adrenals actually determine which cells should be increased, and when. Anyway, they do the whole management problem. All right. So without the balance and health of those, you're not going to have health, the immune system. And then the third part is our pineal gland, that little gland in there, that the third eye, that there's a lot of talk on the internet now about people have, just if you knew how to open and cleanse the pineal gland, you would not be on the internet talking about it. Just like if you knew the mysteries of life, you would not be on the internet talking about it. It's just, and if you don't know that and you have any questions about it, contact me. We can discuss it. I love to discuss those things. So, but anyway, so the pineal gland is being systematically eliminated, rendered dysfunctional with things like fluoride, EMF, glyphosate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's being calcified. So we're not producing what does the pineal gland produce? It produces I mean, in addition to melatonin, what's that other one? The other one. It's a 4 amino acid peptide. It's tetrapeptide. Forget the name. Anyway, it's pretty important. And then the other one is dimethyltryptamine, DMT. So the pineal gland produces those things, which are really fundamental to being able to stay in this biological environment. All right. It's our circadian rhythm, which is our relationship with planets, the planet that we're on, and the sun and the moon and those things. So anyway, all very, very important stuff. So we're not getting enough melatonin. We're not getting enough yeah. Anyway. So anyway, thank you. So we need a lot of melatonin. We need to correct our thyroids. We need to correct our adrenals. We do all this. Now we have an immune system that's working. Otherwise, can you imagine that you go through any kind of treatment that they call treatment, where they're attacking and eliminating stuff and all this stuff, and you even did a detoxification. You went through a long juice cleanser, all that, and then but your immune system's not working. Right. So you can't do that's why when I was saying earlier about a clinic, where can I find a place that does it all? Because you know what? It's showtime. It's showtime. I got this thing going on. I don't like it going on. I want to change it. But so I need everything. I don't need just this portion of it. I need it all. We all need it all. We don't need portions. All right. And all you can say if it doesn't have it all is that it's incomplete. And therefore, you're going to go do something incomplete? That's very important, like staying alive? I don't think so. Anyway, that's what we got to do. And then finally, what's the king, queen, androgynous ruler of all, or control? The mind. The mind can like change everything. I can do all this stuff great, but if my mind is in fear, it'll wipe it all out. It destroys the immune system. It just So if we don't take care of this, learn how to shut it up. If we don't learn how to shut it up throughout the day, so you got to do all this. Plus IV vitamin C and all that stuff that everybody does. All right. So with your husband, everything I just said is for him and everybody. So this is Don Fuchs. Don. Prostate CFC's recurrence. I'm 87 and in good health other than the return of my possessive pronoun, my prostate. CFCs. Okay, Don, I hope you're listening. CF, chronically fermenting cells. You don't have astrological signs in your body. You may have been born between June 21st and July 22nd. I don't know. And in that case, that would be your astrological sign, but it's certainly not in your body. What's going on is, I think you're talking about is chronically fermenting cells. So it's returned after 10 years and you feel you're doing well for your age. Never say that. You're doing well, you're not doing well. What if someone says, you look really good for your age, which means you don't look good? And also on the blood reference ranges, when they say, well, in your range, you get down here. Well, this is the range, if you're older, you've been around, the range that they have is the range for you to shrivel up and be a little old wrinkled ball on a rocking chair. Oh yeah, you're right in the range. of wrinkled balls on rocking chairs. Yeah, yeah, I'm normal. Last thing you ever want to be is normal, right? Unless you turn the word around and call it lamron, that's fine. Give me lamron, but don't be normal. Why? Because the normal person has a heart attack every 45 seconds, strokes every 50 seconds, 80% or 70% are insulin resistant. I mean, so I don't want to be normal. I want to be healthy, healthy, healthy. Okay. So you're doing well. I'm active and I can do most things that I did at 70. Good. My wife and I are still together after 65 years. Yay. I am left with many options to treat my, oh my God, these don't use the words, there's no thing. Okay. My is a possessive pronoun, meaning you possess a thing. There's no thing. So you can't have a possessive pronoun. And there's no thing. There's a process. Okay, your last PSA was 2.20. I hope that point is that point supposed to be there because I'm interested in a holistic approach like Fen-Bent or ivermectin, but need a protocol. Don, join the groups, drlodi.com, because to give you the whole protocol, I just did actually with everything I was just saying. But in addition to that, there, a more specific anti-parasitic protocol for you. Like yeah, okay, because there are different kinds of anti-parasitics and different kinds of anti-helminthics, right? And they have different effects. And the reason they seem to work with CFCs is that the mechanisms by which they eliminate these worms and stuff like that, they also are able to turn off certain metabolic pathways within CFCs that they need to be alive. So that's why it seems to be good and working. So I'd be happy to do that. And go to our website, drlodi.com, drlodi.com, and join the CFC group or the parasite group or something. But it's fantastic that you're healthy. Look up this guy online. His name is Fred Bisci, Bisci. He's 97. And he doesn't jog, he sprints every day. And completely lucid, coherent. He's been eating raw plants exclusively for 57 years, since the age of 40. Yeah. So vitality and all that. So it's not age. It is what we're talking about when we call it age, but it's not age. You can call it age if you want, but what is aging? Aging is the accumulation of toxins over time. And there's two things that contribute to aging massively, and that is toxin accumulation and gravity. Yeah. So not much you can do about the gravity, but toxin accumulation can avoid it. And we know this is true because there was Carroll, what was his name? I can forget. He was a scientist, I think 1915. I think he got the Nobel Prize in medicine or physiology for the heart. Anyway, he took chicken hearts and put them in a solution, a nutrient solution, and they were alive. They stayed alive, and they were and he wanted to see how long they would stay alive if he cleaned out the toxins every day. He got rid of all the waste, so there was no waste accumulation. Well, I think the experiment was finally like abandoned or discontinued for some reason in the 1950s. And chickens don't live that long. The point is, if we don't get toxic, who knows what the potential is? All right. So just keep that in mind. So we're talking about colon hydrotherapy. We're talking about anyway, everything. It's all the same thing. Detoxification. And the other thing that we okay, so eliminating toxins. So you're 87 years old. You had 88 revolutions around the sun. Unless you're a discologist. If you're a discologist, then what do you guys think? For the discologists, what do they think? What do you guys think? So we're not having revolutions around the sun. What are we're sitting? We're on a disc, and those aren't really what we. They're they're not really there. And on the disc, if we're on the disc thing, what I have trouble is how come people on this disc think it's nighttime and the people on this side of the disc think it's daytime? I mean, that's one I haven't figured out. But anyway, so if you're a discologist, then I'm not sure what it is. We'll just say 87 years old. But so that, okay, which means we have at least another 30, 40 years of dancing in the rain. If we had if we were in the environment out of which we arose, if we were in our human pond, chirping and burping with the rest of the frogs, and that's how long we would be around. So anyway, so what do we need to do? We need to approximate, take our lifestyles wherever we are, wherever we happen to be, and approximate what we know to be the ideal, and as close as we can get to that. All right. That means also getting your shoes off and standing on the ground daily, connecting back to the earth. Hug a tree. Absolutely hug a tree. Climb a tree. I'm not a tree hugger. Well, that's too bad. That's too bad, because it hugs you back and it gives you stuff that you can't get anywhere else. So, all right, don't hug that tree. All right. So, and by the way, just if we want to look at this whole biblically, consider this. Before the flood, right? And people were eating and living according to the Genesis diet or the Adam and Eve diet, or and remember, I've read that several, many, maybe 100 times, that whole, the whole book, but there's no microwaves, no ovens, no stir fry. There's just what the earth presents. So they're eating that way, and the average age, I think, was 912 years. After the flood, we started eating corpses, animal corpses. And within 3 to 5 generations, we got down to 120 years. And today, if we make it to 90, we've got diapers on and tubes coming out of our noses. So I think we made a wrong turn somewhere. And I kind of like the Adam and Eve diet. Anyway, but all of you people, whatever's going on, that's what we all have to do. Am I doing it? No, of course not. I'm not. I mean, I'm not. I'm not living the way I really would know that I need to live. Because why? Because I've got whatever going on. But I'm close, and I'm trying to get closer all the time. And I know I have that as my goal, and I'm really, I'm pretty close. I don't make it all the time, but that's the thing. We've got to, it's not, how long do I have to eat like this? That's like saying, how long do I have to quit smoking? How long do I have to stop shooting heroin? I mean, once I'm better, can I get back to it? These are, so anyway, the real simple thing, keep this in mind. Yay. Oh, wow, look at that. That's fantastic. Who's this? This is Gisette. Oh, Lizzie J. Fantastic, Lizzie J. Yay. She's so happy and healthy and joyful, energy, eating raw vegan foods. I never want to go back. I could never get out of bed in the past. Now she's jumping out of bed. So, yeah, that's just, it's fantastic. So anyway, that's where we need, that's the lifestyle. That's what we all need to do. We need to, right? Because here's the thing, very, very important thing. It's obvious when you hear it, but it's not obvious to most people. And that is, whatever is required to be restored to health, the same is required to maintain health. It's not two different things, two different approaches. And there's only one way to achieve health, not two. not 1.5, one way. And that's living healthy. Oh, so then we said, what is living healthy? 8,000 years ago, living over here in Phuket or Ecuador. What would you be doing? All right. Now, Jeanette. Topic is parasites. Discuss praziquantel. First, a big thank you. You know, it'd be nice if we could put these questions up. Just remove the name of the person. Put, so people could read them. But anyway, so that was it. So today my question is, I've been on the protocol you might recommend over the years. Today my question is, please recommend the use of praziquantel. You mentioned it, and it could do it at the time, but I am ready to start using it. Okay, so praziquantel is another one of the anti-helminthics, which they call. I hate the word. The word dewormers just sounds so weird. No. Well, I guess call it a dewormer, anti-helminthic. Even though I hate medical terminology, it sounds better than dewormer. But anyway, so like ivermectin, like the benzimidazoles, like niclosamide, like parantopalmate. Okay. So the praziquantel is for, like different kind, like blood flukes, which are schistosomes, liver flukes, which are like pistacorchis, and tapeworms. So it's pretty limited in that. And with regards to its effect with CFCs, unlike the other ones, ivermectin, the benzimidazoles, which are fenben, blah, 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 and niclosamide, which have multiple mechanisms by which they turn off the biochemical pathways of CFCs, multiple. This really only has one. It blocks the it blocks one of the anti-apoptotic processes. So let's clarify terminology here, because I'm not going to be one of those. I'm not going to use words that we don't understand. And all these words are really easily defined. So apoptosis, apoptosis is the word that the biologists use when a cell is at the end of its lifespan and it recycles itself, right? It takes all the parts and they're used somewhere else. So there's no toxins, or there's no waste. It's a pretty cool plant. And that's apoptosis. And our bodies are going inside of our bodies. That's going on like trillions of times a day, a minute, which is continually renewing. All right. So one of the anti-apop, the ones that stop that prevent that from happening, right? It blocks that, so that apoptosis can happen, and that tumors, etc., will recycle and go away. But it's only one thing, so it doesn't have that much of an effect for CFCs. But in terms of as an antiparasitic, absolutely. If you have a fluke, schistosomiasis, schistosomes are these blood flukes that usually get into the urinary system, and they can cause all kinds of problems, including CFCs in the urinary tract. And then there are the liver flukes, the pistacorchis and clinorchis. They're mostly in China and Southeast Asia, around there, and they get in, they go to the liver, and they like one particular part of the liver called the bile ducts for some ridiculous reason. I don't know why they like it, but they do. They like it, and they hang out there. So, and then our liver gets is trying to heal, and it becomes inflamed, and that chronic inflammation becomes CFCs, and it's called cholangiocarcinoma. So, and then of course tapeworms. So if any of those things are going on, then you could do the 600 milligrams 3 times a day as part of the protocol. What's interesting is if you look up the protocol that's recommended, it's 3 times a day for 1 day. It's like, huh? Huh? Did I read that correctly? Yeah. But that's what it does, Jeanette. So you can use it. So it depends on your reason, what your purpose is. All right. Uh, okay, so I got to switch over because the hour's up and get over to the spontaneous questions here. But this is Kim real quickly, and the topic is Alzheimer's. And what's the best way to stop the progression of Alzheimer's? My husband, 1 scoop of the drugs, yeah, 4 milligrams and all that. It takes this every night and is showing signs of dementia with touch of Alzheimer's. He's 82, okay, and very inactive and doesn't want to do anything. He sleeps 9.5 to 11 hours a day. Can he be helped? Yes, 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 yes. I hope you've been listening to this whole thing because it did apply to you. And everyone, please understand that everything applies to all of us. We're all the same, even Brad Pitt and Angelina. They're like us. Yeah. There's no different. No different. Their pulmonary arteries and their saphenous veins are in the same place that we have them. Their blood is, I think, red, like us. I mean, it's everything. And they pee, they have bowel movements, they get horny, they get angry. Yeah. And we all need, what do we all need? We all need to be respected. We need to be acknowledged. We need to be loved. We need to love. We need to touch and we need to be touched. So emotionally, psychologically, physically, we are the same. Sorry. If you have a celebrity type goal in life, that's it. And so we're all the same, but that's actually good news because I am he, as you, as me, we are all together. Anyway, Alzheimer's is a name they put on something. Now, it didn't exist when I was a kid. Neither did ADHD, neither did autism, although those names didn't exist. They didn't exist. In fact, the original name for Alzheimer was pre-senile dementia. Pre-senile. In other words, you're not old yet and you're demented. And now it's come to mean almost anything. All right. If you were listening earlier, Kim, we were talking about accumulated toxins. That's what's happening. You got to clean him out. He's got to get cleaned out. He's got to get cleaned out. You stop taking drugs. He's got to be cleaned out. And I don't know, I'm not telling you to stop taking the drugs you're on because I can't give that kind of advice to someone I've never met and I don't know their whole medical condition. I can't say that. So please don't do that. But under proper medical supervision, if possible, to get off of drugs and restore health, get rid of all the toxins. He needs colon hydrotherapy. He needs to drink juices for 6-8 weeks, just a lot of good, delicious juices, and got to get him moving. You got to get him up, move him, get him moving around. If he has energy, he'll do that. So if you get rid of the toxins and you start, you're getting rid of the toxins and you're getting stuff that you need, nutrients that you need, then you will feel better. You will have energy, right? And moving the muscles are important to get the whole metabolism happy and the immune system working, and it's all required. So we've got to get them up. We've got to get them cleaned out and up. And yes, it's not only possible, it would happen if you can do this. The other one is he needs to make sure he's got all the vitamin C and all that. He can get intravenous vitamins. He can get intravenous chelation. There's therapies he can get from functional medicine if you. So anyway, what I would advise, Kim, join the Health and Healing Group. All right. It's the least expensive. It's we'll meet every other week, and I can talk to him and you, or not him, probably not, but you about that. Okay, so we can help him get back on. All right, I'm back on now. I'm over here on this side. We're gonna close out the question. Sorry about that. If your question didn't get answered, where'd we go? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What happened? There we go. Okay, cool. Okay. Good. All right, cool. So here, let me see. There was a question earlier I wanted to answer. Uh, oh, here's a real quick one. This is Suk Vendor. Can you share on a full parasite cleansing, where and how to get the stuff if we are based in Malaysia and India? The dosage for kids and adults too. I'm asking for me and for my 12-year-old nephew who was diagnosed with bone CFCs in February this year. All right, well, in India, it's pretty easy. I'm not sure about Malaysia. In India, I think you can just go into a drugstore. I think you don't need a prescription. I don't know, but like I was saying, 3 anti-worms, anti-helminthics, like for example, ivermectin, mebendazole, and niclosamide, right? And then for the protozoa, nitazoxanide. Some people have reactions to metronidazole and less with tinidazole, but anyway, um, you can take those. So depending on your condition, depending on your liver function, remember you have to have you need to make sure your liver function is uh, healthy. Why? Because not because these are uh, hepatotoxic, liver toxic. It's because they require the liver to be neutralized, to be metabolized, and so the liver gets a lot of work, extra work if you're taking all 3 of them. So you need to take liver support with that, which is alpha lipoic, our alpha lipoic acid, uh, augmented NAC, I like that, and milk thistle or silymarin, same thing, and of course thiamine, vitamin B1. Together, it keeps your liver healthy or rejuvenating while you are taking these. And it's for 12-year-olds. You can find that very easily online. You get and it's usually by kilogram. It'll give you it'll tell you the amount per kilogram. And also in India, you should be able to do what someone can do here. In Thailand, people can just go into the pharmacy and, explain to the pharmacist what's going on, and the pharmacists are pretty knowledgeable. But remember, they're only going to give you the Rockefeller playbook. So that's what you're going to get, but at least you have that. Yeah. But Malaysia, I'm not sure. I think Malaysia is a little more. Wow, it's cold. I think Malaysia is a little more by the book, kind of like Singapore. Singapore's like, whoa, by the book. You are the book. You got to be part of the book. You've got to be a letter on the book. Welcome to Singapore, but don't chew gum. Anyway, but anyway, you can do that. But also go to drlodi.com, join our parasite group. And then we can talk every other week or every week. Every week we'll be able to talk. Along the journey. It'll be great. So okay, so here, let me see. Regards from Miami. Should I take this peptide? Which peptide? I have lung and kidney CFCs. Well, Henry, if you're talking about the thymosin alpha 1, yeah, yeah. Thymosin alpha 1, yes. And there are other peptides that are specific for CFCs that I haven't mentioned, such as, ones that help mitochondrial health, and the other one is, excuse me, oh, methionine and enkephalin, which is a 5 amino acid peptide produced by the parts of the nervous system and the sympathetic ganglia and the adrenal cortex. Um, and what it does, this 5 amino acid peptide is produced, kind of coordinates and mediates the immune system with the endocrine system, the hormone system. But it also, what part of the way it does is it helps, it restores the immune capability of cells that have been rendered incapable because of the tumor microenvironment. So the tumor microenvironment, which we haven't discussed much today, we have in the past many times, but the tumor microenvironment is an environment that uh, just disables our immune system. So even though our immune system is strong, it gets in there and it's ready to do thing and it gets disabled. It's like imagine a castle with a moat around it, and that moat is full of, alligators and crocodiles um, and T-Rex. Okay, and you got to get through that moat, and that's what they. So that's kind of the what's going on there. So the methionine and enkephalin were MET5. They also call it MENK, MENK. Can reverse that and look it up. Look up methionine and enkephalin, MET5 or MENK, MENK, and then put in tumor microenvironment, and you're going to say, "Wow." So every aspect of our immune system that gets uh, damaged is restored with this. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. So yeah. All right. And then where was another one? Wait, where was that one thing? Hey, Veronica, I've been doing 72-hour water fasts and breaking them with eating melon. Feel great. Yay, of course you do. That's wonderful. I love it. Oh, here's one from Claudia. He says, I have a friend. She start with a CFCs on her breast. I'm not going to use that word you guys use. I listen. I have the greatest respect, and I know that astrology is real, but it's not in our body. We don't have astrological signs in our body, so stop using that word. And if you insist on it, switch them up. Give them all a chance. So this month you call it Capricorn. Next month I want you to call it Pisces. And come on. And the doctor is giving her 2 months to live. So Claudia, first of all, a doctor doesn't have that ability to give or take life, time in life. All right, that not. I mean, a doctor can end someone's life, which happens, but they can't tell you. They can't predict those kinds of things. They don't know. They don't know. So it's not theirs to give. So you don't accept that, because the problem is by you accepting that, by you saying, okay, got it. And people actually fall over on the day they were told that they were going to be gone. So first of all, that's that. And so it sounds like she's got a problem with Claudia. I hope everything we've been talking about today is what she needs to do. And I don't know where you are, what country or whatever, but she's got to join the CFC group, because there's so much it's not just, I can't just say, well, do this, it's not like that. It's a process that requires assistance. Now, if you're in the US or anywhere near the US, and call our clinic and Oasis of Healing in Arizona, an oasis of healing in Arizona. Call there because, uh, you know, that way you go there and you don't have to think about what's going to happen because it's all going to happen, and you're going to learn at the same time, or she's going to learn at the same time. But that's what I would say, Claudia. Brian, you're very welcome. My absolute pleasure. What was it? Somebody wanted to know what was that question? Sheila, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm really. Can you guys hear me? Am my audio okay? Audio's okay. Okay, cool. Let me see. It's garble and gaslighting. Wait. Anyway, somebody earlier, I can't remember, I can't find the exact thing. Oh, here it is. Uh, please explain vaginosis, bacteria. So bacterial vaginosis. Yeah, well, there's, it's a confusing thing. Okay, so basically, what that means, bacterial vaginosis, means that there's a healthy vaginal biome, just like we have a gut biome, we have an oral biome. We have a different biomes, like a little bit different in our armpits than on our forearms and stuff like that. So, but there's a healthy vaginal biome, and when that gets disturbed, there are what that means is that the relative proportion of bacteria change, and so there might be, or you wind up having microorganisms that produce an odor and do it. The odor is one aspect of it, which is kind of a fishy like odor. But also there's something called trichomonas, and which is a parasite, which is a protozoal parasite. And you get it from men. Men are the vectors. Males are the vectors for this parasite. And I think all STDs, because I remember studies, they would look at population of nuns who were like really nuns and not, or they would look at like pure lesbians who've never, neither partner has ever had a male, right? And we just don't see STDs. So males are the vector, the mosquitoes. Males are mosquitoes. Anyway. So, but anyway, so that one you would take something like tinidazole or metronidazole. Metronidazole can cause things like ataxia and stuff. So, but tinidazole or nitazoxanide, but tinidazole, yeah. And that would eliminate if it was trichomonas. And the bacterial vaginosis really it just has to do with you can do a nice salt water saline douche, clean out, and eat healthy. You don't necessarily there's no military operation here, although they prescribe that, because if any antibiotic or anything like that is going to further disturb the dysbiosis of the vaginal dysbiosis. So really just cleansing it out and you can use things like garlic. You can get a garlic clove and crush it, and then when you go to sleep at night, insert it in your vagina and put in like a tampon or something to keep it in there. Go to sleep, and in the morning you will have pretty much, garlic. I don't know how garlic knows. Garlic knows. Yeah, garlic knows. Garlic kind of is a friend of ours. They kind of knows what we need and what we don't need. So anyway, there's other things you can do as well, but cleaning it out. But that's what it is. That's what it is. So one, if it's a If it's a protozoa, then you've got somehow somebody's handed it to you. And if it's not a protozoa, then it's just the bacterial dysbiosis, which can come from lots of things, lifestyle, um, hormonal changes. I mean, because remember anyway, I won't go into all the detail, but just to understand that the hormonal changes within a woman who's menstruating, um, I mean, premenopause, uh, means that she's having the hormones are stimulating certain glands in the uterus to produce their secretions that come out in, and they're ultimately seen as vaginal discharge. But that is actually food for the microorganisms. And so the microorganisms, the relative proportions of the microorganisms change throughout the month as a woman's hormones change and the types of glands the types of secretions from the glands. So it's a very beautifully, wonderfully complex, divine process, and it's just like, if you know, it's just sublime, sublime. Eh. All right, here's one. So, I feel. Wait, did I not? Did I miss? Did I miss? Okay, here. I'm gonna do one on Instagram right now. Okay. Well, what the? Why you go? Don't go away. Where'd it go? Where the? Oh my gosh. Well, I can't find that one. I'm sorry, but here's a carrot. Oh, what? Come on! Don't keep. I developed a sun allergy 3 years ago. Rash on my legs and arms. Tried antihistamines, but it's not strong enough. Do you recommend anything I could do? Yes, 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 yes. Uh, you got to do a really good cleanse. You got to do a really good cleanse because our skin is a manifestation. What's going on in our skin is coming from within. Just an obvious fact. So it's not that you're allergic to the sun. You can't be allergic to the sun because it's not possible. It just means that the sun, the ultraviolet light from the sun, is activating some toxins that are being released, or enhancing the toxins that are being released. It's not an allergy to the sun. Just like most food allergies, when they say you're allergic, you do a test and you find out, I'm allergic to this, and this. Well, no, no. What's happening is that because you're not allergic. The word allergy, understand, when we made these words up, it's an immune response to eliminate something that is a problem. All right. We call it an allergy, but we could put that name on it, but it doesn't matter. It's an immune response. Okay. And the immune system is responding because it's determined that this is not a necessary thing. Okay. Now, what happens is when you're eating food, because our guts are unhealthy, because the tight junctions between the cells that line our gut have been opened up. Um, uh, there, see, everything that we eat has to go through the digestive system and get processed. So you eat a protein. You eat let's say you eat uh, I don't know, the leg of you eat the leg of a dead goat or a dead cow or the belly of a pig. Right? Isn't that pork belly? Isn't that supposed to be? I don't even know what it is. I can't even imagine. You're eating the pork belly. Is that what they mean? You're eating the stomach or the belly? Is anyway. So suppose you're eating that and you get a protein and you digest it. What happens? Your body says, "We're no wait. We're not going to let that guy in because yeah, that's uh I think that's it's part of the Rumsfeld Bush Cheney team. Got to get that out of here. So anyway, um, So you have to break it down into its constituent amino acids, then we can absorb it. All right. So that's what the GI system does, the gastrointestinal system. It breaks things down. It's just like, so even if I take glutathione, right, which is a 3 amino acid peptide, I take glutathione. I'm not going to absorb glutathione. I'm going to absorb the different amino acids, glutamine, glycine, and cysteine. That's what I'm going to absorb. And then my body will do with it what it needs to do, not necessarily make glutathione on the spot. All right. So yeah. Anyway, now if if the processing is not allowed to go to completion because I've got holes and things leak through that are too big, that's why the immune system's there. You know, two thirds of our immune system by volume is in our gut for just these kinds of things. We have gut associated lymphatic tissue. We have Peyer's patches. You know, we have lymph node. Blah, blah, blah. We've got a lot of stuff in there that are ready for this because there's where like the line, the battle line is between the outside and the inside world is right in there in the gut. All right. So anyway, you develop an immune response because something's too big. So I'm allergic to this. No. Because when a lot of if you keep in mind, if you remember that in the back when I was in residency and stuff, uh, the recommended treatment for food allergies was rotation diet. What does that mean? That means you're going to eat this stuff for some period of time, a week or two, and then switch to this stuff, and then switch to this stuff. Why? Because you will have developed, because this will have leaked and caused an immune response, and now you change, and anyway, you keep getting one step ahead of the immune response to leaky gut. And it says not the particular food, and it's not in the sun, and it's not all that stuff. So the same thing is happening. So what you've got to do is really do a thorough cleanse. Do a 6-week juice cleanse. Go to sleep early, and then after that, when you start eating again, make sure you're eating human food. You're certainly not eating stuff that it's like fried or whatever. I mean, so please go to the drlodi.com, join our health and healing group. We'll meet every other week. And you'll have access to all the webinars and all sorts of stuff. And it's the least costly. It's only $25 a month. And that's it. You cleanse, and please don't use any lotions on your skin as sun blockers. That's crazy, right? Because another thing they've got us convinced. I love this one. This one is like, well, I mean, yeah. They've got us convinced that the sun, which is the source of all life in this solar system, is our enemy. We have to avoid it. And so we have to get these chemicals on our skin to protect us from natural light. Okay. It's insane that they came up with this nonsense, but what's more insane is that anybody believes it. And unfortunately, that anybody is almost everybody. They believe. By the way, we need sunlight. It's actually good for us. You should get out there early in the morning, right after you wake up, because you went to bed early. You're going to get up out early. You're going to get the blue light in your eyes, and you're going to get the morning light on your body, and then you're going to go out there several times throughout the day, so your body gets to experience the day as it progresses. That's how we readjust our circadian rhythm, especially that early morning one. And then we go to bed early because it's when the sun goes down. Unless you're not in the right latitudes, then you have to just put an eye mask on and you go to bed at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, latest. If you're in Norway, or Finland, or even Germany, I mean, it's yeah. So anyway, you do that, and you're not going to have a sun allergy anymore. That's the way that works. Okay, here. This is Tanya. I'm a 52-year-old female. I have a partial thyroidectomy. I just started taking 120 grams of natural thyroid in perimenopause, still menstruating, I'm struggling with my thyroid. I did the basal test, which told me my thyroid was off. Then I started taking the natural thyroid. Weight gain. Weight gain if I only look at food. My diet has been off the rails lately, just coming back from vacation. I'm starting back on healthy eating tomorrow. Keto carnivore. Wait, you said healthy eating. So healthy eating, keto carnivore, called oxymoron. But let me help you understand that. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad. Don't say understand. Listen, I'll explain in a minute. I have done 7-day fasting and did fine. Currently reading your book, thinking of doing a 21-day fast. How do work that around my menstrual cycle, as I was told not to fast during that time. I appreciate your advice. Okay, very good, Tanya. So, all right. So you said you're taking 120. You mean I think milligrams of what's it called? You said natural. Natural thyroid. Okay, so yeah. So those are usually in the U.S. Those are usually uh, glandulars from pigs, porcine. Although they do have some bovine, from cows. And so you did your basal body temperature. Just for everybody to keep in mind, and for you, Tanya, you do your armpit temperature in the morning when you first wake up before you get out of bed, because when you start walking, you generate heat. So you got to get that. You do that 5 days in a row, and you take the average by adding those 5 up and dividing it by 5, and if you wind up with less than 97.8 Fahrenheit or less than 36.6 Celsius, then you are low functioning thyroid, hypothyroid. That's it. All right. And that means you need a couple things. One is you need iodine. You start taking Lugol's iodine, and you also need some thyroid help to get your thyroid function. And so you'll take it. You'll take a certain amount, like you're taking 120 milligrams, micrograms, whatever. I don't know what you have. And after about 7, 10, 14 days, you recheck your basal body temperatures. While you continue to take it, the thyroid. And if you're still low, you might have to add a second one in, and maybe so the first time you're doing it in the morning, empty stomach. This time you're doing it half hour before your midday meal, and then you check again in a couple weeks, and you're still a little low, so you can add a little bit in the morning. So otherwise, you titrate yourself up to make sure to your body temperature being healthy, and you got to make sure that you don't get rapid heart rate or anxiety or anything like that, or because that would mean that you're increasing it too quickly. So you just go back, slow down. But that's that. And you're getting your thyroid straight is going to be one very important aspect of restoring a healthy weight. But for you too, Tanya, I would say do a good cleanse. Do a good 6-week juice cleanse, right? Remember, it's difficult like the first 4 or 5 days while you're getting you get past this the appetite. Appetite is I gotta eat. And really what we're saying, I need to smell, taste, chew, and swallow. I need to smell, taste, chew, and swallow. I need to smell, taste, chew, and swallow. So that's really like, take the juice you're drinking and put it in the ice cube tray and and then you can chew. Not all the time, but I mean, now a keto carnivore diet. First of all, to be in ketosis, if you're eating healthfully, you will, no matter what you're eating, you'll stop eating 5 hours before sleeping. You'll go to bed early. When you wake up in the morning, you will be in ketosis. This is the way it is. And if you're only eating in let's say a 4 to 6 hour window, you're going to be in ketosis for several hours a day, which is great. What it means, all that means is that your body is burning some fat. In other words, it's taking the fat cells and breaking them down into their constituent parts, fatty acids, and some what they call ketone bodies. And your body is using that for fuel, not exclusively glucose, which means so that you've got some ketones because you're burning some fat. That's all that means. Ketosis is the state of having enough ketones in your body to be measured. And then there's therapeutic ketosis, which depends on what your therapeutic goal is, you know. So, and that's when they look at the ketone to glucose ratio, also called the GKI, glucose to ketone index, GKI. And so the therapeutic, if you had CFCs, you'd want to get that under 1. So like 0.8, 0.9 is good. But usually it's anywhere from 1 to 3 or something like that for most people. But again, all that all happens when you're eating healthy, when you're eating the right foods in the right uh, when you eat and what you eat, and volume. So when you think of food, we think of volume, frequency, and quality. And in that order is what you would want to learn to modify. You want to decrease volume. Secondly, you want to decrease frequency. And so healthy eating is at most twice a day, within at most a 6-hour window. And if you're eating real food, nutrient dense food, you will have satisfied all your nutrient requirements during that period, and you won't be deficient, and you won't have uh, cravings and you know gnawing appetite. Now, the carnivore diet, as you referred to there, if we want to eat like a carnivore, we have to understand that carnivores kill their prey and they eat the animal alive, or they bring it, they pull it over somewhere and it dies, but they're eating it then. So they're eating really, I mean, talk about fresh sashimi. Whoa, this is sashimi. Geometric sashimi. Anyway, uh, so that's how they eat. And by the way, they usually go for the gut first. They eat the organs like kidneys, pancreas, thymus glands, ovaries, testicles, the and the gut, the stomach, intestines, heart, lungs. And if they get full, if they get really full, if they're full, like usually if there's enough of them, they won't get full. But if they get full and they leave anything for the vultures, it's what we call steak. So when we use the word the carnivore in terms of diet for the humans, it's not a carnivore diet because we don't eat what carnivores eat. Now, if you go grab that chicken, rip its head off, and eat it alive, then definitely carnivore diet. But that's not how we usually do it. We usually get the muscle. I don't want all the other stuff, right? I don't want the heart. I don't want the kidneys. No ovaries on my plate. Please, come on. Get that pancreas out of here. I just want some muscle. So we usually eat muscle, and then we have to defile it with fire. And we heat it up, and we chop it up, and we grill it, stir fry it, put sauces on it, and all that. No carnivores eat that way. No carnivores eat that way. No. Now, so it's closer to a scavenger diet. So scavengers are dogs, rats, raccoons, hyenas. And so they pretty much can eat flesh and non-flesh foods. And so it'd be more accurate to say I'm on a dog diet. I'm eating dog food, and I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to and I want ketones. See, I'm telling you, you're unfortunately they got you, with these words, and they're all these faddish words and insanities, right? Because by the way, we're not designed that way. And I just remember that challenge I have for anybody who's confused about diets. Go to the jungle and take all your clothes off and go in there and tell me what's for dinner. Now that you're equipped with what you were born with, what God gave you, what are you going to eat? It's not it shouldn't be confusing. And what looks good to you? You know what a carnivore would do if it saw an animal grazing in the grass? It would lick its lips. Do you do that? I don't do that. I've never seen anybody lick its lick their lips looking at an animal grazing. And also, if you've ever been walking along and you see an animal, a dead animal, and you get down and you smell it, yeah. How long ago did this perish? No, but your dog would. If you were walking your dog would smell it. We wouldn't. So it's not in our inclinations, it's not in our instincts, it's not in our, you know, we're not we're just not going to eat that way unless we were force fed as infants, as before the age of 3, 5. So what happens to you by the age of 5 is establishes who you are, your appetites, all that sort of thing. Your challenges throughout the rest of your life, etc., have been established. All right, so uh you know the old story, right? You got a rabbit and an apple, and you got a little playpen with a baby. I don't know, let's say 14 months old, 12 months old, whatever, from any country. In the playpen, you got a rabbit and an apple. Most likely, try to eat the apple, lick it, and play with it, whatever they will. It's if it can get a bite out of it, doesn't have teeth yet, but it won't be able to. But if mom came along, cut it up a little bit, I don't know. It depends how old you are, anyway. But I'm just saying the apple is attractive for food, and the rabbit is something you play with. That's what it is. You eat the apple, play with the rabbit. Now you take that rabbit and apple and you put them in a little cage with a baby lion, and they will eat the rabbit and play with the apple. So this is before the perversion of our cultures gets to us. In this village up here in China, they're feeding them live monkey brain. Over here, they're giving them so whatever. So we get our cuisines are cultural. They're not natural. They're not instinctual. We instinctually would not eat a corpse. In fact, I think that's probably one of the corpse eating could only have become a sustainable thing when we had a fire, the use of fire. You don't need to fry your apples, but you do need to do something to that corpse. Anyway, you'll be very healthy if you eat healthy, but do the cleanse, get your thyroid working, and you can do that. So join the health and healing group, and we can talk about this every other week, and directly. And there's all these resources, where to get this, where to get that. And before I forgot to mention to someone about the antiparasitics, you can contact my assistant at hello@drlodi.com, and she can help you get them. And so absolutely, Tanya, you can do 7 days and 21 days if you've never fasted before. So when you read the book, you realize there's a way to prepare for it, so that the first 3 to 4 days, which are usually are crazy, if you went from a regular eating to a water fast, the hormonal and glucose, and you go crazy. So that's why we toned down our eating, so that for the last several days or week, right? And when we enter the fast, it's not such a roller coaster, but it's only the first 3 days, 4 days, and then you're absolutely fine. Anyway, and you're perimenopausal. So and the fasting around your menstrual cycle. Uh you could fast, if you're gonna if it's a short fast, 7-day fast, then I'd say, after the luteal phase. So like if you look at the menstrual cycle as day 1 as being the first drop of blood from your period. That's day one. So let's say starting on day 22, 23, 24, you can do the 1 week. Or if you can do a longer one, then you don't even consider that, because the you're cleansing. And what will be, what's going to needs to be cleansed will be cleansed. And so if you're going to do a 21 day, there's no way to avoid it, whatever. And it doesn't matter, because you're cleansing. And it's not going to be, you're not doing this every month, and so it's fine. You don't have to worry about it like that. But if you're only doing a week, then you'd want to do it during that period, because you don't want to be doing it when around ovulation, which is around day 12 to 14. And that depends on, people have different cycle lengths, depending on toxicities. All right. Oh, wait. How about Instagram? Come on. What? Is Instagram still on? Anybody? Instagram still on? Yes? How come I can't see the questions? Where the hell are the questions? I mean, where the I can't. Oh, technology. I'm so glad we have technology. My life has been so much better since I've had technology. Is this working again? What? Yeah. Uh-huh. It's really amazing. Unbelievable. Oh. So, all right. So, Klaus, yeah, Klaus, I think you might have heard me before. Uh, hey, you guys are back. Fantastic. Sorry, I don't know what happened. You were there. What do you do for liver support? That's R alpha lipoic acid. Take the augmented NAC and milk thistle and thiamine, which is vitamin B1. Hi, Tammy, from Illinois. Fantastic. Ocular melanoma. And a sweet friend sent you this link. Well, that's great. Welcome. And definitely join the CFC group. Go to drlodi.com, join the CFC group so we can help you through this, because otherwise, you need a real second opinion. And when you go, and remember something, when you go to, different well-known hospitals that are known for working with people with CFCs, chronic fermenting cells. For those just tuned in, we're talking about cancer. It's not cancer, it's chronically fermenting cells. So if you go to any of those hospitals, you go to 3 or 4 different hospitals to see if they can get, for second opinions, third opinions, you get 3 to 4 first opinions, because they're all working from the same algorithms. That's it. They're not going to get, you went to 4 different Toyota dealers and you said, tell me, what kind of car should I buy? They're all going to sell you Toyotas. So, all right. So what I'm saying is, if there's ocular melanoma, so please, because we have a wonderful lady, in our groups, and uh, who was dealing with such a thing, and it's like a non-issue, and no drastic, crazy things from healthcare professionals, right? Healthcare professionals. How do they get away with using the word health? Does it ever come up in a conversation with them? Uh, anyway, so I'm glad you're here, Tammy. Join the CFC group so we can keep going. So Karen here. So I was in remission, but now I know it was still there. But my tumors came back or were undetected for a year. I do not want to go to do chemo or caries ever again. I'm doing vitamin and mineral protocol. I got it. That's very. Uh, but my friend's homeopathic doctor. From your friend's homeopathic doctor. What is your opinion on ivermectin and fennel after my 30-day protocol, or can I do both at once? So what are you doing? You're doing. Are you doing a vitamin and mineral protocol? I'm not sure what that means, but there's no reason why you couldn't do antiparasitics at the same time you do vitamin and minerals. So I don't. There's no conflict there at all. But I'm not sure what your particular protocol is. But I mean, just from the fact, vitamins, no, because you'll be getting vitamins and minerals in food, and so yeah, that's. But remember, Karen, if you've been listening to this whole thing, there's a lot more you need to do, and you know that now. You need to biological dentist. So join the CFC group, please, so we can. All right, Jackie, thank you so much. Okay. Now wait, what did I see over here? Oh, here it is. I'm 26. Follow Blueprint Brian Johnson. Simlin, Slimlin, etc. But I smoke and drink. My memory is super worrying. My memory is super worrying. What tests or what should I check at the doctor or test for memory? Okay, so memory. Okay, well, okay, so memory. So memory is one part of our cognitive function, and I'm sure. Uh, I guess that's all you're really noticing. Of course, drinking. I don't know how much you drink if you smoke and drink. I don't know how much you drink, but if you get drunk every day, that's going to affect your memory for sure, just because of the toxicities. Um, but yeah, so here's what's happening when we think of memory. When we have a decrease in memory, what's happening is that the speed of the nerves, our brain, the nerves has slowed down. That's what's happened. It's just basically slowed down. And they slow down because they get toxic. So really, it's a cleansing. So what you need to do is do a cleanse. You just take off, um, take 4 to 6 weeks and just do a really thorough juice cleanse, or even do 2 weeks. Just so you can see how powerful it will be. 1 week. Now, in addition to that, there are things that can actually help people with memory. There's peptides. You can get a peptide called CMAX, SEMAX. You can go online and get those, and they're usually nasal sprays or injections with insulin syringe. But CMAX and then CLANK, SELANK, and then cerebrolysin. These are different peptides, but the CMAX is good for you, and it helps with memory, with cognition and stuff. It's used with people that have like traumatic brain injuries and recovering from different things. So it definitely works, and it's a peptide, meaning it's not a drug, and it's not an herbal medicine even. It's something our brain normally makes. So I would do that, but I would also do a cleanse because you don't want, and so because there's no reason for a 26-year-old person to have memory issues, unless there's just something plugging up. It's just toxic. Just don't think of it as anything else. There's nothing else going on. It's just an accumulation of toxins, right? And so another thing, going to bed by 9 o'clock allows our brains to clean out the metabolic waste from the day. If we go to bed late, we don't get that opportunity, and we keep the same metabolic waste in our brain. It's called the glymphatic system. So, join our health and healing group, right? It's $25 a month. We'll meet every other week. We'll have a meeting. We can sit here and talk with the other group people in the group, and there'll be lots of resources. You'll find out all kinds of, because everybody in this groups have been doing this for a while, so they know it. They're yeah. So it's really wonderful. Join it. Go to drlodi.com and you'll be able to do that. All right. Yeah. Cool. But there's really no test. There's no test that they can do. I mean, unless you went to like a neurologist who, yeah, but they're not, and all they're going to do is say yes, no. Anyway, okay. So, but what I'm telling you is how to eliminate. The cleanse is going to do it. The cleanse is going to do it. And then as close as you can get to a healthy life would be good. So we can't all be healthy. We're not going to be living a completely healthy life, but as close as you can get. So you say you're going to smoke, and you're going to have to, drink, but still, go to bed early most of the nights. You can party maybe one night a week, 2 nights a week. Stay up late. By the way, go to bed early. Stop eating 3 hours. You're 26, 3 hours before sleep. Eat in a 6-hour window. And drink, but you don't have to get drunk every night for sure. Okay. All right. So, anyway, you guys, wonderful, fantastic, wonderful day, night. And for a lot of you, it's time to go to sleep. And for us, it's time to get going because the day just began. Where would you rather be? Would you rather be going to sleep or get going right now? Anyway, Sawadee Kap, Namaste, Namaskar, and Aloha to everyone. See you next week.